Thank you, Pepe. That is the 4 p.m. energy that we needed. Thank you, Pepe. And let me just say at the outset, I will be flattered if you serve yourself more beverages during my brief comments. I know you all want to get to the rock stars that are going to be talking on these two panels. So first, let's talk about why LiveRamp is here. This is sort of, hey, we're talking about in-app. I too had this question for Pepe. Why do you want LiveRamp here? But we have a perspective on where marketers are sending data all over the ecosystem, and we're privileged to work with so many of the leaders here representing these platforms and brands. So we sort of have a perspective on the flows of data, and I guess some people say we're the Switzerland of data even. So a neutral voice. And so to us, it's a little funny when we talk about people-based marketing and all the trends in the space that we're still having a conversation about channels being underutilized or underserved like in-app. So I'm going to share a little bit of my perspective on that. We'll lay the groundwork first, though, by talking a little bit about identity resolution and the latest trends in people-based marketing and some of the tactics that brands can adopt to get familiar and comfortable with the in-app opportunity. You can view this LiveRampy people-based marketing content as the interstitial before your in-app meet here at the end of that was an in-app joke about interstitial, but okay. Oof. So first of all, let's talk about the latest and greatest in the world of people-based marketing. No surprise to everyone here, but people-based marketing is here to stay. And typically, media buyers are seeing greater returns, they're allocating budgets, but still most of this conversation is very Google and Facebook centric. In fact, I'm sure many of us in the industry feel like it's hardly a week where we can get away from a news cycle that's Google and Facebook driven. But people-based marketing, despite the dominance of Google and Facebook as platforms, doesn't have to end there. Of course, we at LiveRamp have an identity graph, but there are many other players who have that sort of data connectivity available. And you can take everything that works about finding that people-based audience with you to any channels. And that's what we're going to talk about in context of in-app. So first and foremost, people-based marketing doesn't have to stop at just finding people for your buy. It also means that we need to live up to the full possibilities of this space, and that includes complete customer obsession, contextual marketing, making every touch point with a brand relevant. And the way that we're going to get there is in spite of the prevalence, the incredible explosion of different identifiers. We've got cookies, we've got devices, we've got PII, and that's a huge obstacle. And of course, it would not be an ad tech presentation without some sort of mandatory Lumascape slide, so I present mine today. 2011, 2012, 2014, 2015 to today, the predominance of channels has made it very tough as a brand to manage your people-based marketing initiatives. It's made for billions, if not more, different identifiers and silos of data. So of course, it is a little bit hard to take what works in Google and Facebook and scale it. So getting an omnichannel view of your consumer is difficult because of all these identifiers. And into this breach comes identity resolution. Identity resolution has been labeled by Forrester now as sort of a core business competency. So we're not just thinking about this as a tactical advertising approach. This is strategic at the CMO level for all brands. So you need to be thinking about the way you engage through all channels. So this is really the connection to the in-app conversation we're having, which is it's crazy to think that one channel is in or out of favor. You need to view every touch point linked by an identifier like a mobile ID as deterministically an opportunity to develop contextual advertising and marketing with your consumers. And right now, when we talk about people-based marketing, we're talking about some very simple use cases. Most of the time, marketers are thinking about, oh, we all know this one. Recently purchased a backpack? Oh, wonderful. We've done the amazingly high value thing of not serving another ad, that's suppression, and offering the complementary product, that's trekking poles. Now, this use case, I don't want to knock this use case. This has generated a heck of a lot of money and opportunity for LiveRamp and its partners. But this is really just the starting point, right? We can do so much more with identity resolution than just onboarding. Onboarding is valuable, but we need to know all of the touch points. And so this is how our customers have told us they view the ecosystem. First-party data. We need to unify everything we already know about our customers. Second, augment it with what other people know about our customers. This is second and third-party data. We need to activate it. That's what we do with our partners here today. By the way, I looked up just for the trade desk alone, LiveRamp sends, I think, over 100 billion rows of consumer data, person-based data a month. So Activate is a big use case. But then we need to do measurement. We're going to talk a little bit about the person-based measurement climb here today as well, and of course, analyze and repeat. So identity resolution, for those not familiar, is taking all of these disparate consumer touch points, online and known, unifying them to a common ID space. So when we go out to in-app, when we go to addressable TV, when we go to display, we're talking about the same people using the same first-party data about our customers, the same second and third-party insights as well. So this is customer obsession. We didn't just do retargeting. We didn't just do suppression. We're able to deliver on the true promise of identity resolution. So hopefully this sets the tone a little bit for what's possible today. Now, before I talk about in-app specifically, I did want to mention that as easy as we make this all sound, our clients do have a lot of challenges getting there. So you're not alone if you're a brand and you're thinking that this all sounds well and good, but that there are a lot of complicating steps to get there. We think that this is, roughly speaking, the way people should think about adopting people-based marketing. Moving from that simple retargeting use case, moving from their experience with the walled gardens into the world of programmatic, publisher direct, and of course, getting your measurement and planning operations to be completely people-based, not cookie-based or device-based. And as far as measurement goes, we're going to talk a little bit about what you can do today in the in-app channel, but think about starting with understanding the audience. So a lot of stats are going to fly around today about who's using these apps, what we know about them. But do these studies yourself. Don't just rely on the Google study or the Chartboost study or the LiveRamp study. There are a lot of deterministic ways that you can do analytics with these audiences, append other high-quality data sets to them, and understand them better. Move into the world of campaign ROI, maybe only single channel for starters. Do person-based measurement, closing the loop with offline transaction data. And then finally, get into the more advanced worlds of omni-channel measurement using incrementality, multi-touch attribution. So now let's talk about in-app. Interstitial is complete. First, I was taken by this quote from Wells Fargo's CMO recently at Ramp Up at our conference down the street a month or so back. You know, all this discussion today about which channel we should prefer ignores the fact that the consumers have already chosen their channel. They're there, their impressions are there, and because of our ability to link mobile IDs or cookies deterministically to first-party data or second-party data or high-quality third-party data, we shouldn't really be having this discussion at all. You should look for the inventory where you can match to your first-party audiences everywhere, every possible channel, and take advantage of them. So let the consumers tell you what they prefer. And what they're telling us is they prefer all the channels all the time. We're seeing incredible growth, obviously, in mobile, and we're actually not seeing much of a decrease at all in TV. So media consumption is just going up. The proliferation of channels is going up. And despite the incredible growth that Pepe was just alluding to, we're not really seeing the degree of adoption you would expect based on how consumers are actually spending their time. So yes, budgets are going everywhere, but really people-based budgets are lagging in some of these channels. So specific to the in-app opportunity, you know, the stereotype that Pepe alluded to is the pimply-faced adolescent male gamer spending all their time in a very brand unsafe environment. And in getting ready for this and sort of refreshing on the latest stats and talking to some of my colleagues and friends, sort of amazing that this is still a discussion we're having. Because the stats have been very clear and very out there for a long time that women are playing apps, affluent people are playing apps. In fact, women are a dominant audience. And as far as the brand safety concerns, you know, so many of these apps are, in fact, predominantly devoid of user-generated content. So in a world where we worry about what video is playing on YouTube next to your brand's ad, it seems a little parochial to be so concerned about the in-app content just because it's maybe not what the marketer themselves is as familiar with. So the numbers are pretty powerful, so the inventory is there. But I did want to talk a little bit about the people-based marketing challenges that still might exist in the in-app world. So for our customers at LiveRamp, trying to activate first-party data, even for that most basic use case of retargeting or suppression, there are still some pitfalls. So one of them is that you might start out with a couple million people in your CRM, but by the time we're done with things and we've matched to us and distribute to one of these great DSP partners or direct to Chartboost, you might not find the complete scale of that audience in-app. But that's okay. The first thing is take advantage of what scale you're able to find. That people-based audience is super high quality. You know if you're using deterministic onboarding to get there, that these are the people that you want to be reaching. So take advantage of it, first of all. But even then, work with a partner like one of these DSPs or a DMP partner or a standalone lookalike modeler to do person-based audience expansion. Reach more people that are deterministically at seed like your audience. Utilize, I work a lot with our third-party data marketplace at LiveRamp, utilize the super high-quality data that exists about your customer and use that to target in-app. And the other challenge that we hear a lot of feedback from brands and from marketers on is some of these brand safety concerns or the unique nature of measurement and targeting in-app. So pixel-based brand safety doesn't work, pixel-based measurement doesn't work, but there's still a lot of options on the table. We talked about single-channel measurement. Take those impression logs out, tied to a mobile ID, they can be onboarded at a person level, and you can get deterministic results about the impact your campaign is having in-app on your first-party transaction data. Or if you don't have that transaction data, you're a CPG, there's a lot of third-party sources for how well you're doing, or location measurement for if you're driving footfall. And finally, from a brand safety perspective, the stats are pretty clear that we're talking about a lot of puzzle gaming, particularly. But work with the in-app partner or your DSP. There are whitelisting opportunities for apps. And there's a lot of ways to ultimately target and segment your consumer and tailor the message. So part of me wants to say, yeah, sure, work to find out, to solve those brand safety concerns. The other part of me says, again, your consumers have voted. They've voted to spend in time in-app. And if you're using the right people-based approaches, you should be able to reach them there and reach them there in scale. And through the wonders of identity resolution, through the great scale available at these different platforms, you should be able to get off the ground and don't just get there, start measuring right away. So those are some of the opportunities we see. I'd say one other thing to mention is, it's so funny that in the world of TV, there's this elaborate degree of insights around the time of day, the content of a programmer on television, and the type of opportunity. When we think about a Super Bowl ad, everything around that spend is contextual to this big day in someone's life that they're gathering with their friends to watch this big event. The stats are pretty clear on the in-app audience that people are relaxed, they're gaming on their commute, they're gaming at night, they're gaming everywhere. They're having fun with it, they're blowing off steam, and it's really like a live sporting event. It's really like watching ESPN. You're glued to the screen and this interstitial comes up and you stay glued to the screen to advance to the next level. But the marketing is, again, so focused on what everyone still thinks are the adolescent boys that are the gamers or on the next big Marvel release. And while that's great, no knock to those advertisers. If you know something about your customers and then you know something from the in-app inventory around the time of day and the context, it shouldn't be rocket science to figure out that this is someone on their commute. This is someone taking a break in the middle of the night from the shift on a certain job. The data is out there to layer on there so you can be contextual and relevant to the consumer. So it doesn't just feel like dropped in the middle of the gaming experience. It feels like it's more relevant to them, just the way live sports are. So that's it, folks. Time for the real content. Thanks for letting me be with you here today. Thanks, Pepe.
Thank you.